The Positive Pause is a motivational-minded podcast covering topics women want to know about as they journey to and through menopause, focusing on subjects that impact women's health and healthy aging, including what it means to age healthfully. The Positive Pause features experts and influencers from a variety of industries and specialties. The information and opinions expressed on the Positive Pause are not intended to replace the services of trained professionals or to provide specific medical advice. To see the National Menopause Foundation's full medical disclaimer, please visit nationalmenopausefoundation.org.
Hello, and welcome to the Positive Pause. I'm Claire Gill, founder of the National Menopause Foundation. We all know sleep can be an issue during perimenopause and postmenopause, and experiencing night sweats can make it even worse. If you're looking for ideas on what to wear to bed that won't get soaked and will still make you feel comfortable and sexy, you'll enjoy getting to know my guest on this episode. After a 20-year career as a senior executive with one of Canada's largest retailers, Lara Smith left to start Lucime. After seeing firsthand her sister battle breast cancer and knowing that she had symptoms of menopause, including night sweats, Lara left to found Lucime to help the millions of women suffering with night sweats in a beautiful way. Lara is also committed to social purpose, and in 2017, she launched Sweet Dreams, a program to give women in emergency shelters a special care package with sleepwear and other treats. Thanks so much for being here, Lara. I'm delighted to talk with you about your company and some of the great work that you're doing. So let's start off by talking a little bit about what inspired you to start Lucime.
Sure. I love this story. It really is it started as a passion project in 2011. I was working a corporate job at one of Canadian's largest retailers. I was in buying and sourcing and 70-hour work weeks and traveling overseas to Asia and Europe 7-8 weeks a year. It was kind of grueling. And my sister got diagnosed with breast cancer and she was 39 years old. It was really a light bulb moment to stop and go, first of all, what can I do to help her? You lose this sense of control when someone you love is struggling with something. And I learned as a result of the treatment that she was undergoing that she would be dealing with years of menopausal-like symptoms. So hot flashes and night sweats. And just the inability to be able to tackle her life and everything she was dealing with without sleeping because she was sweating all night. That was my call to action to do something. Because I had these relationships with fabric mills, really technically advanced geniuses in the textile industries, we worked on conceptualizing what the most premium luxury performance fabric could be in a sleepwear solution for women suffering in silence. And that was the genesis of Lucime.
That's fantastic. I mean, I'm sorry to hear about your sister, but I mean, sometimes it is that tragic moments that spark some real innovation.
That's right. There was nothing out there. There were some other brands that were 100% polyester or they looked like granny jammies. And my beautiful 39-year-old sister was like, I don't want to sleep in that. And we wanted women to feel comfortable and beautiful. And the name Lucime is an ancient Scottish term that means desirable. So we just wanted to provide a beautiful, elegant solution that actually did something purposeful.
Oh, love that. I love the name Lucime, and I love the story of that too. And it's such a great way to, again, make women feel beautiful while we're going through this change of life for all of us. And it's something that we are all adjusting to. And as you said, the hot flashes and the lack of sleep just make it so much more difficult for women. So let's talk a little bit about that. So we know that, hot flashes and night sweats are really common among women going through menopause. And as you said, other women too, who are having other medical issues. So what does the market look like for you when you were looking at that? What kind of inspired you in that respect besides your personal connection?
Well, when we started to research the opportunity and the amount of women suffering in silence, what we learned through, many reports, talking to doctors, doing some research was that 80% of all women at some stage will suffer through night sweats, and it's for an average of 7 years. And of course, the biggest target inside of that and we know now from our customer base, would be women going through perimenopause and menopause. And that's, the bulk of our audience would be in that range of sort of 45 to 55. And it's not a sexy topic. No one's running around waving a flag. Hey, I'm going through this. It's such an emotional thing for women too. It's just that, oh man, that trigger of that moment when you realize your body's changing, your hormones are changing. And as a nice side benefit cherry on top, I'm going to sweat all night long for many years, possibly. It's horrible.
Right. Uh-huh.
We had to do something to help. Sleep is everything.
Yeah. It makes such a difference to our mental health, our physical health, all of those things. So I think that's true. And we found at the National Menopause Foundation, that's the one thing that women, as you said, most commonly talk about, the suffering through the night sweats and not getting proper night's sleep and hot flashes that wake them up in the middle of the night. It's crazy. But again, now there are products out there. And I think that's kind of something that has been a very positive as we've started the foundation and done research around that too, that there are more companies interested in addressing the needs of women at midlife. And obviously, Lusomé is one of those. So tell us a little bit about developing the product and the technology behind it, and then, how you've grown your product line.
Sure. It started with, as I said, way back, I think 2011, 2012, and a particular fabric mill who make millions of pounds of fabric for the highest end performance athletic companies, who I had a long relationship with. It took us about 2 years to create a technology that would be proven and substantiated in a lab to actually work from a performance standpoint, because you can measure moisture transport from the skin away from the skin. So that's a very objective measure. But also it was important that the fabric be soft and yummy and luxurious. So 70 rounds of fabric later and 2 years to create our performance objective, which is a very high standard of moisture management. But it starts at the fiber level, the type of fibers we're using, and then the construction of the fabric. It's a push-pull mechanism. As soon as perspiration hits the backside of the fabric, it quickly pushes it to the face of the fabric. It's not moisture wicking. That's a common misconception. Moisture wicking, like a candle wick, will pull in the moisture, but it doesn't do anything with it. So it holds the moisture in the fibers. This actually pushes it away from the face of the fabric into the environment. Also doesn't have any chemicals as a finish, which some other brands use. So it's really all natural. It's the Ferrari of moisture management. Nothing else exists quite like it.
Wow, that's amazing. And again, finding something like that, just the kismet of having your background and knowing these producers and being able to work with them to create something like that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was super fortunate, because it would be much harder for someone else had they not had these relationships to go figure out how to engineer this technology.
Yeah. What's been one of the most exciting things that has happened since you've launched? So you worked on it for years. When did you officially launch the company and have product?
We launched in 2012, but we didn't have our first piece garment for sale in the market until 2014. So that's when we were officially in business online and boutiques. I think the most exciting thing was how quickly the market responded. There was obviously a captive audience of women craving something like this. So it was not a hard sell. Very quickly in the wholesale community, we had a whole bunch of boutiques. The media grabbed onto the story like I could not believe. It was, starting to open up the conversation. I think our timing was spot on. I mean, health, the notion of smart sleep, hormone conversations, all of these things were happening. And as I said, women were suffering in silence. So from that point of view, the market acceptance was great, but the absolute highlight of everything that we do and why we wake up in the morning is we get letters from women. Sometimes it's family members of women, but how much we've helped change their life, given them a great night's sleep. They feel better. They can tackle things. So that the fact that it actually works and women love it has been so rewarding.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's really great. And for, you're based in Canada. Here in the US, I noticed, among the many, many media accolades you got was the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval, which is sort of, again, or best of in the category. And that really is pretty amazing for here in the US because that's such an independent publication that looks at these products and stuff, and women really look to that to say, oh, okay, that's a great endorsement, and I want to consider that. So kudos for getting that done as well, especially as you're just launching.
Well, it's been great, and Good Housekeeping has been such an important partner because I'm a bit of a textile geek and I love learning about new machines to test textile performance and attributes. I've been quite a few times to the textile testing lab in New York, and they have the most sophisticated machines. So now, because I know what they put products through when they endorse them, I really pay attention to Good Housekeeping recommendations because they put products through the ringer to substantiate the claims.
Yeah. Yeah, that's terrific. That's really wonderful. And, I also liked that you've added plus size to your product line as a little bit larger woman. When I originally got the product, early on, I was like, wow, this looks great, but it's a little tight on me. And so I was wondering if you get around to that. And I just saw recently on your website that you do have that now.
We just launched it, and it was a little bit delayed because of the world we're living in now. It was intended for March, but we've had requests forever. And it's not as simple as just taking a style and extending the size range. It is a completely different pattern. We wanted to make sure that we did it properly and had the right styles. So we do take our time to consult customers and store owners to make sure that we're servicing this clientele properly, and then went about building a completely different pattern. So we're excited. We've got 5 styles, and they just launched on the website now, and the response has been great.
Ah, that's fantastic. Yeah. So, and I will definitely be checking those out. Awesome. So thank you very much on a personal note. So in addition to providing educational information to women and helping them, find what they need about menopausal symptoms and stuff, part of the goal of the National Menopause Foundation was also to help inspire women and to empower them at this time of life. I had said when we talked earlier, part of my emphasis on starting this foundation was that as I approached menopause, I didn't intend to go off quietly and sit back and just be unseen, as I think a lot of women at midlife have said they feel. And so, I really do want to encourage women to use this change in our life to also take stock of what it is we want to do and what are some of the things that we might be interested now in this, latter part of our life that we weren't able to do as younger women. So I'd love your thoughts on, some of the biggest lessons you've learned in creating this business that might be useful to other women who are considering it.
Right. As an entrepreneur or starting a business, I feel like I started my business, I was 41 when I left my corporate job, and I had such great experience under my belt. So I would say in my business, even when I was in corporate world, building my team, surround yourself with smart people, smarter than you and different than you. That was been great my entire career. They challenge your thinking. You can just trust them to go off and do the job. So smart people around you, number one. Don't get in front of your skis. When I say this all the time, people sometimes are like, well, what does that mean? Just really go through the rigor of planning, put a strategic plan in place, get people to vet it. Don't go out kind of like a drunken sailor, buying, spending, planning until you really understand the opportunity. It's better to chase than to kind of retrench, especially now with resources and capital being way tighter than it was before. It's just important to plan. And there's no shortcut to hard work. In the end, if you want to build something, a sustainable brand, you're going to have to be prepared to put in the hours and be patient. It can take a really long time.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice. And as you said, there's so many, resources out there for entrepreneurs. And one of the, most important things that they say is generally you don't get into this business if you don't want to work, right? Yeah. Because you'll never work harder than you've worked at anything in your life until you are trying to build and run your own business. It's the fact that it'll be so rewarding because it is your business and that, you're building something that makes all that work and sacrifice so important, And I think also it's really interesting to do something that you're passionate about. So as you said, you're inspiration for the company was something that was really made you passionate. You wanted to find a solution for your sister and for women like her. And, that tends to be the businesses that are successful.
Mm-hmm. And waking up in service of others. And I realize it's pajamas, but it's not just another fashion brand. It is rooted in purpose and social impact. And I think that's what fuels the team when they understand how we're impacting women's lives. I think just that thread of social purpose in any brand and business is going to serve you well.
I absolutely agree. In addition to, again, helping all women who are going through this by, as you said, creating something that helps them and fills a need at midlife. But as you talk a little bit more about your social purpose with the brand, I know that there's several causes and things that you support, that you believe in, that also help fuel your business and your passion. So tell us about that.
Right. The inside of Lucime, what we established in 2016 was our Sweet Dreams campaign. And typically it would be in gift giving moments, Mother's Day or towards the holidays, but we partner with local women's emergency shelters who have often left, quickly in the middle of the night and they have nothing. So we package together Lucime pajamas, and some other assorted kind of necessary items that, believe it or not, they may not have even had time to leave, and plan to have a toothpaste and toothbrush, shampoo, hairbrush, a journal, some moisturizers. So we put together these care packages and deliver them to local women's emergency shelters where we have stores that are selling Lucime, so they can package this up and make it super easy. So Sweet Dreams is one of our campaigns. An offshoot sort of my personal life and my story, I co-founded SheWorth, which is a mental health platform. It's turned into a bit of a movement. We know mental health is at a crisis point, and it's gotten worse in the last few months. SheWorth helps women realize the role that our self-worth plays in our overall happiness. It's a platform, it's a journal, there's online tools, some social media channels. But what we've learned is if you can improve your self-worth, which is intrinsic love of yourself, it's very different than self-esteem or self-confidence, that will transform your mental health. So it's really as simple as that. So those, couple of things, along with running Lucime and being in service of women, has been super purposeful and very kind of social impact.
That's fantastic. Now, I make sure that as we, put in details about this podcast, we'll include links and stuff. But can you just give us the email address for SheWorth?
Yes.
The URL for SheWorth?
It is sheworth.org. So www.sheworth.org is the website. And then SheWorth_women is the social media, Instagram and Facebook.
Definitely encourage women to check that out. As you said, there's so much that goes into building our self-esteem, our confidence. But as you said, if you don't have self-worth, then it's going to fall short in all those respects. And I checked out the website, and I really do like the tools and stuff that you offer there. Even is it not a personality? It's the quiz that's on there?
That's a good one. That's really insightful to find out just how our wiring impacts our decisions and our choices every day.
Right. And something kind of simple process to go through, but anything that we learn about ourselves and then take that learning and be able to, change how we go about our days and our relationships can make such a big difference. So that's terrific. And I love the Sweet Dreams as well. I think that's, giving back to the community is really essential. And I think most customers expect it now, and all we do is we look at brands that we believe in and that we relate to, the ones that are involved in social purpose and that give back to the communities and help others has really been the ones that rise to the top. So it's fantastic that you've already created that program. I really love it.
Thank you.
So tell me, what's next for Lucime? What have you added the plus line, which is fantastic. What are you considering next?
Well, we have, we're very nimble, and we, like everybody else in the world today, we some call it pivot, some call it a silver lining. I call it, tactical opportunism, but with such a focus on health and immunity, which Lucime plays an important role, because if we are stressed, oftentimes we can sweat at night, and not sleeping impacts our immunity. So our technology brand is Zerotex, and that's what powers Lucime with the advanced moisture management. But Zerotex, we just launched Zerotex Health division, and we've launched a protective comfort mask, which we challenged our fabric mill, the geniuses and textile engineers, to build the most comfortable. So it's breathable, ergonomically designed, and the highest protective value. So literally, as I'm talking to you, we're just out launching it now. The website went live in the weekend. So we pivoted pretty fast and got to work with our fabric mill on creating this mask, and it's very much needed in the world, as you know.
That's right. And it's really, it's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future either, so I think we all need to kind of get comfortable with that. And the only way to get comfortable with it is, finding good products that we are able to wear for longer periods as we go about our day, particularly for those who have to go back to the office, or for those who are on the frontline workers who really, are struggling with trying to keep some type of face covering on for the full work day. And we know that it does such good, right? That this is how we're going to all come together and put an end to this pandemic, is while we wait for the scientists to catch up with the vaccine and things that we need to combat it. But these face coverings are really part of our lives right now. So yeah, fantastic that you were able to do that, and looking forward to checking out that product as well. Anything else that we've covered a lot of ground today, but anything else that you want to share that I might not have asked you that you think would be really of interest to our listeners?
Well, I just want to congratulate you on your work. I think exposing the conversation, encouraging women to share their stories, it's important right now more than ever to be part of a community. And when we can rely on each other to share the tips of what's helping us through menopause, such as struggling, it could be a year, 2 or 3 longer. Women suffer for a long time. So what you're bringing to the world, the community, North America, we're so grateful, Claire. So thank you for all that you do and for having me today.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, this is it. And the idea is that we can learn so much from each other, and we can help each other. And we just needed a place where we could all come together and do that. So delighted to continue to chat with you and to share information about Lucime. We've put information. You were gracious enough to give a discount code to our audience. And so that'll be in our newsletter. And again, just looking forward to telling more people that they do have options, right? That there are great solutions out there. And so you are one of those great solutions, and really appreciate you bringing this to market for all of us.
Thank you so much. It's a labor of love.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Claire.
I hope you enjoyed meeting Laura and are inspired by her creativity, ingenuity, and her desire to give back. To learn more about night sweats and other menopausal symptoms, please visit our website at nationalmenopausefoundation.com. And for more information about Lucime, please visit their website at www.lusome.com. Thank you, and we look forward to having you join us on another episode of The Positive Pause.